On September 27, 2025, Mojang announced the new Mounts of Mayhem drop, featuring changes to the mobs we could ride, the new mob known as the Nautilus, and a new weapon, the Spear. Many people were especially hyped up about this last edition. After all, it had been 6 years since we got a new melee weapon added to Minecraft. And all of a sudden, we get 2 new unique weapons in 2 years. But what if I told you the new spear would completely break Minecraft's combat system as we know it? Before we get into why the spear breaks combat though, it's good that we go over how this item actually works. Spears are available in 7 different tiers, just like the other tools, and they're crafted with 2 sticks and one of the corresponding material, making it the new cheapest melee weapon. And their base damage is always 1.5 heart less than the sword of the corresponding material. They also have a reach of 4.5 blocks instead of 3 like every other melee weapon in the game, and can be enchanted with every sword enchantment. This already sounds overpowered enough, but there's more to it. You see, as a combat item, they work a little differently to the other weapons. Instead of having a single type of melee attack triggered with left click, like the sword, axe, and mace, or a melee attack with left click and a range attack with right click, like DrDonut, the spear has 2 types of melee attacks. The first attack is called the jab attack, and it works by left clicking while looking at your target. This will deal the spear's base damage to the target and have a cooldown which increases the higher tier the spear is. Unlike with every other weapon in Java Edition, this attack cannot be performed until the cooldown time has passed. The second attack the spear can perform is called a charge attack. To do it, you must simply hold right click to lower your spear, which will stay down for a time that varies with the weapon's tier. In this state, colliding with an entity, not clicking on them, will deal damage proportional to the velocity you have, and this is where things start getting extreme. You see, by just sprinting with speed 2 and a netherite spear, we deal 5 hearts, almost the same damage as with a netherite sword enchanted with sharpness 5. You think that's powerful? By using an elytra and firework rockets, we can deal an astonishing 20 hearts of damage, which is enough to kill a player in full protection 4 netherite armor in just 3 hits. And remember, you don't need to time your hits or even aim directly at them. You're still not convinced that this spear is OP? There's more. You see, both jab and charge attacks have a 0.125 block miss margin, which means you don't even have to aim or collide directly with your target to hit them with all of the damage. And did I mention the charge attack doesn't reset after you hit something? Which means you can just hit opponents twice with just 1 rocket if you're aligned properly. And you think a shield is gonna protect you? Then you're wrong, because the second attack can hit you from behind the shield even if your opponent doesn't turn to hit you. And hey, they have their own exclusive enchantment as well, which allows you to launch yourself forward when doing a jab attack, so you can get a free charge attack. Oh, but it costs you some hunger, you say. Yeah, cause people don't bring food into fights, it's not like it heals you or anything. Oh, and you know about combos? That thing you do with your sword that makes it unique? Yeah, you can forget about them in fights with good gear, since you can just alternate the jab and charge attacks, abusing the spear's reach to put your opponent into a much faster and harder to counter combo. And I didn't even talk about attribute swapping. You see, this is a feature which makes it so that if you hit with an item and swap to another at the same time, the game will take the damage of the first item and the properties of the second item. The main use of this is breach swapping in Mace PvP, which is using this mechanic when fighting on the ground to take advantage of the sword's high damage and fast cooldown, and the breach's mace ability to bypass part of the opponent's armor. This was already considered very broken within the PvP community, but now you'll be able to do it with a spear. It allows you to preserve durability when lunging and hit maces from way farther away. Hey, we're not even done! The spear can also attack through non-solid blocks like tall grass or cobwebs, so strategies such as the web bubble are now completely useless against an opponent with 2 sticks and a diamond to spare. And since the damage is based on total velocity and not horizontal speed, you can do the same strategy as with the mace and go super high up, and you'll basically be able to one-shot everything without even having to click. But Manic, you keep ranting about the spear, but you don't really know if it's actually gonna be that useful in PvP. Well, the other day, I wanted to see if the spear was as OP and easy to use as I thought, so I called my friend Capito CK. He's a decent PvPer, better than the average player, and pretty good at Mace PvP with fireworks, but I'm more experienced and should be able to kill him using a mace while he uses a spear if the 2 items are similarly OP, especially considering none of us have used the spear before this fight. I'll let you see how it went. Hi, this is Editing Manic here. Turns out you're gonna see how it went, but not hear it because the audio for this fight corrupted. I'll just comment over it real quick. We started up and Capito put up a good fight and he even got a couple of good charge attacks in, but my mace practice paid off in the end and I just quick dropped him and killed him. Overall, I would say it was hard to fight against him, but not too hard considering he's never used it. I then proceeded to use the spear myself and he used the mace, and it turns out the spear is easy to use, it's easy to land jab and charge attacks, and I got to do a good pop on him, but overall you need practice to use it, it's not immediate. So Capito managed to quick drop me and kill me in the end, even though I won on durability and broke his helmet. In the end, we both have had months to practice the mace, but we just used the spear today and we both got some pretty good charge attacks. So I think when used by a player with experience, like what happened with the mace community, the spear could really become an overpowered item. Like, it would become a lot better than the mace. I think it's clear now that the spear is very broken, but I don't want to make a video just complaining, so I came up with some suggestions to balance out this weapon. I know my channel's not big enough for these proposals to reach Mojang though, so if you're a YouTuber, big or small, try to spread this information to reach more people. It's for the sake of the PvP community's future. Now, it's clear that the spear's right-clicking attack is the main thing that makes it overpowered, so by just nerfing it a bit, this weapon could become a lot more balanced. For starters, I think the damage of the follow-up attack should be significantly decreased with each consecutive hit, or at least reduce the player's momentum with each attack. This would make it less overpowered in PvP. I also think the follow-up charge attack should be blocked by shields. After all, a spear is a very large weapon, and it doesn't make sense that you can maneuver fast enough to hit someone that you stopped your attack. If none of these convince you though, at least you should agree with me on the fact that the spear charge damage should be capped at a certain speed, or just be based on horizontal velocity. Otherwise, the mechanic is too similar to what we already have with the mace, and I know for a fact Mojang does not like repeating content, so this at least should be changed. Finally, I think the spear's reach should be lowered. It makes sense that it's more than the other weapons and it adds a new mechanic, but 4.5 blocks is just too much. Like, just look at this. I think setting the range to 3.75 or 4 blocks adds new enough content without being insanely overpowered. Those are all my suggestions, and hey, I know the spear is coming out in just a couple of days, but it can still be in a bug fixing version. So if you agree with what I said, share this video with your friends to try to make a change. And if you liked how this video came out, you can drop a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. You can also check out this video if you want to see more of my PvP related content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.